Okay, I'm up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I got you loud and clear.
All right. Throttle's at 1,000 RPMs. Oil pressure. Yep, wind to green. Right. Waiting for this to set up everything. This is still acquiring status. I would get in the habit of doing it too early. I would put the Winston's runway in too early, and then it would like mess it up.
TOS, system test okay.
What I normally do is just put Winston in and then we zoomed it out like 25. That's your miles, I guess.
Okay.
You do it different than that?
Yeah, I typically just leave it like, I won't necessarily go direct to an airfield.
Oh, okay.
But you can. I want to see how you do things already, okay? There's nothing wrong with what you're doing.
And sometimes I don't remember exactly how to zoom it out because he always done it for me after when I was doing something else. But
the RNG here is a range function.
All right.
Zooming down arrows will zoom in closer.
Yeah.
All the way up to 500 feet. And you can either hold zoom in or zoom out and it'll change here. Kind of like that. And what I'll typically do is I'll leave it, me personally, when I'm down here on the ground, I'll leave it kind of around that 2 to 3.5. That way I can keep my awareness up when I'm around the airport.
Yeah.
And making sure I'm kind of going towards the right runway. And then as I get a little bit further out, I'll generally leave it on a 10 to 15 mile scale. That way any traffic that's approaching the area, I can at least see on here. But that's me personally. Right? There's not necessarily a wrong way to do it. I just wouldn't keep it so far out like that I'm seeing huge portions of land, because at some point the traffic will disappear off of here, and now I don't see who may be nearby me.
Yeah.
So I generally like to keep it on a smaller scale. A 10 to 15 is good. But as I get out and going like across country, for example, I'll extend it out to kind of that 20-mile range. That way I can see a greater distance and see things like highways for reference points and so on and so forth. All right, but anyway, yeah, continue on. I'm doing fine.
Adjacent to runways, taxiways, and movement areas. All aircraft read back all hold short instructions, unassign altitudes. Files on initial contact, you have information. Zulu. Winston Tower, formation Zulu 1854 Zulu, wind 180 at 6, visibility 10, view at 3000, temperature 31, dew point 24, altimeter 29905. Visual approach, runway 33 in use, landing runway 33, runway 22. Notice the airman, taxiway Foxtrot closed between taxiway hotel and 1,100 feet northeast of taxiway hotel, except for aircraft parking. Use caution. Mooring operations in progress adjacent to runways, taxiways, and movement areas. All aircraft read back all hold short instructions, unassign altitudes. Files on initial contact, you have information. Zulu.
So we're departing what, northwest, I'm assuming?
Let's go to the north.
North? All right.
Yeah, sometimes we'll change it up or change the scenery. I like for you to get to know all areas of the practice area. We'll go to the northwest sometimes, other times we'll go to the north. Depending on what the clouds are doing, we might go west.
All right. If I'm doing something wrong or different than you just tell me, I'll change it.
No, I just like I said, today's evaluation. I mean, you're not doing anything wrong. There's not a right way to necessarily do something. Like I don't go direct to an airport when I'm here for anything, but I know Mark's students do, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me a bit. You may find that I have different techniques than Mark may have, but that doesn't mean that mine are better or the right way to do things, and neither were his necessarily the right way to do things. It's just it all comes down to technique. It's the same way as you may drive two hands on the wheel, or you may drive one hand up here. As long as you can control everything, who am I to say different? So you just continue to, do your thing.
All right. Lean. Flaps up. Audio panel check. Avionics and radios. I always have trouble remembering which is the tower and which is ground. I'm pretty sure the tower is 128.25, but I'm not 100% sure.
So 123.75 is your tower, and then there's the ground frequency. But just in case there's a question, there is in the checklist, in each one of them, a sheet in here that does have, well, never mind. This one's got VOR frequencies and whatnot. Huh, well, that's different. All the other sheets have the ground and tower frequencies in here, so I guess they want you to memorize them from this checklist because it's not in here. Ground is 128.25, so let's switch over to ground.
That's it. All right. Guess they're going to the jet over there.
Must be. All right.
All right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Western ground, Cessna 5185 Yankee.
5185 Yankee, West.
Western ground, Cessna 5185 Yankee. At the flight school ramp with Zulu. Request taxi for takeoff, departing north.
85 Yankee, runway 33, taxi via taxiway Foxtrot Alpha, cross 22.
Taxi to runway 33. Right on.
Foxtrot Alpha.
Right on Foxtrot Alpha, hold short runway 33. 5185 Yankee. See, sometimes I get like messed up, I guess, in my mouth. I don't know.
I got you.
Sometimes I get nerves really bad starting off. That's probably why. Clear left, clear right.
Winston ground 9835 Golf at the flight school ramp with Zulu ready to taxi for paddle mark.
That's 7125 Quebec. You say you want to stay in the pattern?
Affirmative for Southern 125 Quebec.
25 Quebec, runway 33, make right traffic, clear takeoff for right base.
Right check, right traffic, takeoff for right base. 7125 Quebec, clear for takeoff.
November 9835 Golf, Winston ground. Say again your request.
Winston ground 9835 Golf at the flight school ramp with Zulu ready to taxi for pattern work.
35 Golf, runway 33, taxi via taxiway Foxtrot Alpha, cross 22.
Three via Foxtrot, cross and Alpha via 22. 33 via Foxtrot and Alpha, cross 422, 9835 Golf.
Clear left, clear right.
All right.
Last time while I was taxiing down here, I switched it to the tower frequency, and Mark got super mad at me. Like, he fussed at me. He was like, "Don't ever change it like that." I was like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay, I didn't never change it like that. I was trying to get it like ahead before we got down there."
Right.
But I didn't know we were supposed to stay on ground in case they gave us further instructions.
Yeah, and it actually is not a good feature of this airport, because at a bigger airport, or really any other like Class D, for example, they will tell you to switch from ground to tower. So you remain on frequency up until they give you instructions to change frequencies.
Yeah.
But over here, we have one controller working both frequencies. So at a bigger airport, he probably said, hey, don't change it because this reason. If you go to a bigger airport, They want you to stay on frequency if they give you further instructions, because when you switch, it won't be the same guy anymore.
Yeah.
There's a ground set of controllers, there's tower controllers. So you have to switch.
Roger.
How is it you like your students to hold the yoke?
If there's a crosswind scenario, we set up the appropriate wind scenario, but we're taxiing into a headwind based on what the windsock's doing down there. So as far as this goes, you don't even have to hold on to the yoke right now based on this wind condition.
All right.
Biggest thing is as long as we're just watching for other stuff happening in front of us and listening for other things that are happening, keeping your situational awareness up, this is perfectly fine.
All right.
I'm going to lean and big strap just a hair more.
All right. Sometimes it backfires like really bad. I don't know why. It just does sometimes when we're taxiing.
Yeah.
I never have it happen in the other planes I was flying in. When I started in Yankee here, it started backfiring. I don't know. I guess because it's flown a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Another thing you'll find with me is if I'm quiet in the airplane, it's not because you're necessarily doing something wrong. I'm letting you take your time and do your thing.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm quiet, don't worry that you're not doing anything wrong necessarily, okay? I'm just letting you do your thing.
All right.
The less I talk, the less I am here to distract you and giving you more time to do what you should be doing, right? Which right now is just getting to the point where we can get ready to do the run-up. I'm trying to tell everybody that because I stay pretty quiet unless I need to intervene and talk.
Oh, okay.
Just gives you more time to focus on all this rather than trying to listen to me go on about something. Because the airplane's not a good teaching classroom.
Yeah.
And what I would do is just, well, I've got the flight controls for a second.
Here are the controls.
I got the flight controls. Give it just a little bit of power. See how the nose is still turning us?
Yeah.
Get that nose gear straight. That way when you go to make your next turn, you're not going that way already and trying to fight to go right. Here, we'll just step on a little bit of right brake and a little power, and we'll already start turning to the right.
All right.
All right. You've got the flight controls.
I've got the flight controls.
I see you have the flight controls.
All right, for the run-up, brakes are set. Cabin doors. All right. Flight controls. Free and correct. All right. Elevator trim set for takeoff. Dimension radios set. Taxi and departure procedure review.
Yeah, don't worry about those.
All right.
We'll get to those later down the road.
Sure, Rich. Do you leave a mixture out too? Like it is. We don't have to push it all the way in.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Okay.
You can,
25 Quebec, runway 33.
what do you normally do?
I'm sorry?
What do you normally do?
Oh, I just leave it like that, yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't know if other people done it different.
You don't want to go full rich, not this time of year, but that's something to talk about on the ground later on. We'll just leave it right there for now.
All right. Throttle to 1800 RPMs.
Good afternoon, ground.com 4084, ready to taxi below the base of the tower, information Zulu.
clips.
JOHN 4084, Winston Tower, runway
Oh.
33, taxi via taxiway Foxtrot Alpha,
What I am going
runway
to do is
22.
just one check real quick.
All right, sir. We'll taxi runway 33 via Foxtrot Alpha, cross runway 22, 4084.
Where she idles at. Alright. Click. Might as well just wait until they land before I even make my call.
That's right. Alright, now here is where it's A-OK to go ahead and switch over to tower now.
Alright.
Now your next call needs to be to the tower, but if we were at another airport, they would tell us specifically to change over to the other frequency.
Alright. Crabbing a lot.
Yeah, they're doing a good old slip, but coming in way fast.
I've done
Way
one
fast.
slip. That was it.
Yeah, it's easy to come in too fast on a slip.
Yeah, we were super high up. I don't know how we dropped that fast, but I think we're alright now.
Now, before you make a call, make sure we got our before takeoff checklist already reviewed and all. Make sure we got all lights and everything set where it needs to be. That way, when you make a call, you're not having to try to reach and grab things and not trying to run a checklist as you're taxiing out.
Alright. Lights as required.
Uh-huh.
Just a beacon, right?
It's good practice to turn the landing light on, and you can even
Right.
turn the taxi light on too.
Right.
Okay.
Transponder. If Arco 1200 or is instructed on ground. LT.
Uh-huh.
Alright. Autopilot's off. Don't
It is.
we have it?
Yeah, it's all
Oh,
right.
I didn't know if we had it in here or not. And
Yeah, here.
that's
It's
it. Okay. Flaps as required. All the
Zero.
way up. Takeoff clearance obtained. Not yet.
Okay.
Right.
And then DG, and then go one more page and let's take a look at the normal takeoff checklist. Make sure we've got everything set according to this checklist too.
Flaps 0 to 10.
We'll keep them at 0.
Check. Mixture
Got it leaned.
rich. Alright. Throttle full open.
Uh-huh.
Alright. Elevator trim lift nose at 55 knots.
Uh-huh.
Climb airspeed 70 to 80, 75. Alright.
There we go. So now we're ready to make the call.
Alright. Winston Tower, Cessna 5185 Yankee, holding short, runway 33, ready for takeoff.
This is 5185 Yankee, runway 33, clear for takeoff.
Runway 33, clear to takeoff, 5185 Yankee.
There we go.
And Tower 935 Golf will be ready to go behind him.
Set 35 Golf, stand by. The C5 Yankee, say your direction outbound.
I got this part.
Alright.
Northbound, 85 Yankee.
C5 Yankee, right turn out approved.
Right turn on approved, 5185 Yankee.
That is one instruction I have not got yet, but now I have it.
That's all right. Yeah, he's just asking a quick question. Hey, where are you going? What you turn? Where are you turning out at? Hey, we're going right to the north.
That's kind of scary look real quick. Wait. So we're going to make a right turn out of here and not stay runway heading?
Correct. That's
All
right.
right.
All right. Good lined up. DG looks good.
One quick look real quick. Right, everything looks good to me?
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. A little shimmy, just raise the nose up
All
just a hair. There you go.
I always wonder why it does that. I've never really been taught or I guess what it means, but
There we go.
Cessna 35 Golf, runway 33, make right traffic, clear for takeoff for right base.
33 clear for takeoff, report right base, 90835 Golf.
35 Yankee, got traffic off to your right front, Cessna on downwind for runway 33.
Traffic in sight, 5185 Yankee. Alright, go ahead and we'll make our turn off to the north now.
Alright.
And Winston Tower, Cessna 7125 Quebec. We can see the 172 pulling up in the jet behind us. Should we do a left 360 right here? For midfield downwind.
NOCOM 4084, you ready?
Yes, sir, 4084.
Cessna 25 Quebec, left 360 approved.
Okay, left 360 approved, 25 Quebec.
Oh, looks like the clouds are really moved out of the area, haven't they?
Yeah, I guess they're past the mountain range over there.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it's further off towards the Virginia border. So let's get up to, we'll level off at 3,000 feet.
Alright.
And just remain on your north heading. Remember that when you call and give a specific direction, if you want to turn into a different direction, you got to let him know first before you do anything, since we're in his airspace ring.
Right.
See, there's where, like right there, I'll typically switch to a bigger view.
Alright. Just pretty much announce to him or ask him if we can turn or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you turn 10, 20 degrees left or right, no problem, but if you want to kind of go to the west, you need to let him know.
Maintain 4,000, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading, maintain 4,000, cleared for takeoff, 33, 4084.
Have an estimate. They're going to Florida since they have the Florida tags on their car, but I don't know exactly.
Way 3399 is cleared direct to Tricia.
And Winston Tower, Cessna 7125 Quebec, reestablish midfield right downwind, runway 33 for the option.
We're at 9,000 feet. Cessna 25 Quebec, runway 33, clear for the option.
20 green.
Clear for the option, runway 33, 25 Quebec.
Runway 23 left.
23 left, last good 941.
Ricard 4551 walk.
Okay.
Was that Greensboro?
Yeah, that was. Listening to see where that jet was going to turn, but he's not on it yet, so
Oh, okay.
he'll be on it shortly, but I want him to turn it on. Now, here, I do want to show you something real quick with a level off, all right? I've got the flight controls.
You have the flight controls?
I've got the flight controls. Notice how you're having to fight.
NOCOM 4084, before you go traffic, 1 o'clock, about 5 miles off to your right front, Cessna, northbound at 3,000, contact Greensboro, departure 120.9.
20.9, we'll look for him, 4084. Good day. At departure.com, 4084, 3,000 for 4,000, and we'll go 1 o'clock traffic in sight.
.com 4084 Greensboro departure radar contact, climb maintain 6,000.
Climb maintain 6,000, 4084.
Okay. Now what will help your level off is as you climb up and you pitch that nose over,
yeah,
let the airplane accelerate just a little bit.
Okay.
What does your trim do for you?
To relieve, I guess,
.com
pressure.
4084, turn left heading 270, climb maintain 12,000.
All right, so that's done. All right.
So I guess
Sorry, say that again?
relieve pressure, I guess, from the yoke of your pull or your up or down tendency, I guess.
Uh-huh. And what else does it do? It's got one more really important feature for us. Not only does it relieve control forces, it is your, kind of like your car, just have cruise control on it.
Not full. The Jeep, was it?
35 25 Golf, you number 2, following traffic short silent, runway 33, clear for the option.
Autopilot is like our cruise control. What don't want to use or depend on the trim wheel is like another instrument or like another yoke.
Right.
We
Well,
want to.
well, so it relieves control forces, right? Because I'm holding force on the yoke.
Yeah.
But more importantly, well, I guess not say more importantly, but now notice what just happened. Trim, while it does relieve control forces, it holds an airspeed for you.
Yeah.
So it's basically a cruise control like on a car.
Yeah.
So if I want to get a good level off to where I can lock onto the altitude, as you pitch the nose over, you had the airplane trimmed quite nicely for your climb out speed of whatever it was that we were climbing out at, 75, 70, whatever it was. It was holding it quite nicely. Well, you can do the same thing as you level off because you had the airplane trimmed up for 70. As you begin a climb,
Yeah.
I'm going to set it up just like you had it. Okay, I'm going to give it a little bit of nose up trim here. The airplane's going to hold whatever airspeed you trim it for.
Yeah.
So right there is the airplane's kind of settling into its climb. If I want 75, I trim the airplane up until it maintains about 75 knots with little trim changes here. And now it's my cruise control essentially.
Yeah.
It's holding it quite nicely. Well, as I level off here, if I want to level off at 4,000 feet and start lowering the nose here, look outside and put the airplane into straight and level flight, but watch my hand. I'm getting ready to have to push more pressure because as I build speed, I generate more lift.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go up, I want to hold 4,000 feet. Here the airplane's accelerating and so is its speed. I'm still holding all that force in with my hand here.
Yeah.
Bringing the power down, but look at my hand again. Feel it?
Yeah.
It's trying to climb. And then from there, I roll in my nose down trim until it let off my hand. And now holding altitude, because I have relieved control forces,
Yeah.
it's easy to hold altitude. But it's all because I've trimmed to hold an airspeed.
Yeah.
And it's also relieved my control forces. So now, I'm not having to battle the altitude near as much now.
Yeah.
It's just kind of holding it quite nicely. And then from there, oh, nose is kind of descending down. I don't want it to. So I fix that little trim change. And now I'm not really having to battle the trim a whole lot. I'm not gaining a lot of altitude. I'm not porpoising up and down or having to mess with trim a lot. I'm going to have you do the same thing here. You've got the flight controls.
I've got the flight controls.
All right, let's turn over to the little bit of a clearing that we have over here.
All right.
All right, gently raise the nose up to your climb out pitch attitude and then return full throttle in. There you go, and that's a good heading right there. Now go ahead and trim it up for, let's hold it right about there. So set your pitch attitude always first when you want to hold an airspeed. Set your pitch attitude first.
All right.
Then you can fix your trim, because if you're trying to hold 75, you don't know how much this is going to take to hold 75.
Yeah.
But you can use your gauge here and go, okay, hey, I'm a little bit fast. A little change here, and that should knock off some of my speed. Once you're holding whatever designated speed, then you can start making your changes here on your trim. Little small ones, and there we're holding 75 again. So as we climb out here, we're going to go up to 5,000 feet and level off. And a little bit over here, we got a little bit of a clearing here. Let's go back to heading north.
All right.
That looks pretty good.
Never been this high before.
Oh yeah?
Max I went 3,500.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Last time I was close to these mountains was 4 years ago with Austin on my Discovery flight.
Huh, I gotcha. Beautiful picture, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, so that's good north heading. And we're going to level off at 5,000 feet here momentarily. So but we're not ready to just yet. And there you can start leading it a little bit and nose down. But look outside.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, make sure correspond to here and here. So you don't let the airplane rise. Keep that nose down pressure like that. You may feel some force on your hand, but just keep it from rising.
All right.
Now the airplane's accelerating. Now you can start to bring the power back to a cruise setting while you hold that pressure. See that? There you go. Hold it. Hold it. There you go. All right, about there is pretty good. Now trim it out, and you're going to feel that force on your hand get light again. Feel that?
Yeah.
Keep it going until you can let off the controls without seeing that cowling start to rise up. Ah, look at that. That's pretty good. Now, it's not going to be perfect because it is not an autopilot.
Yeah.
But it does just about what an autopilot will.
Yeah.
It's holding your airspeed so that if you see this varying a little bit, all you got to do is a little bit of that right there.
Yeah.
Little changes in pitch attitude now. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do a 180.
All right.
And you can turn to the left, and we'll turn to heading south here. Good coordination. I feel you moving your feet. That's good. And then if you see this starting to drop a little bit, you can't just pitch up. You have to return a little bit of power pitch combo in. So let's bump in just a little bit of power here. We don't want to lose too much. And that's about it. Real small changes. There you go. That's a good little power pitch combo. The nose is rising just a touch, which you want because you're trying to get 5,000 again. There you go. Now re-level it off with small change here and there. There you go. Good. Very good. Excellent job. Good smooth control. All right, I've got the flight controls again.
You got the flight controls?
I've got the flight controls. Okay. Now let's talk about something else real quick. What happens to the airplane if I add more power?
Wants to rise.
It's going to want to rise. Now what about the why? Why does it want to rise?
More power, which means faster airspeed, which means more lift below the wings.
Perfect. Okay, so here's the thing though. I've told the airplane, or rather you have that time around, have told the airplane that you want to hold this airspeed, whatever it's holding right now, 87, whatever it is. You're telling the airplane that you want to hold 87.
Yeah.
But look where my nose is going.
Down.
It's going down a little bit. Well, here's the thing about the airplane. When you trim it out, it's going to hold the airspeed that you designate, and it'll hold it pretty closely within just a couple knots.
Yeah.
So if the airplane's not holding altitude, it's a little bit of a power change that you need here. Because the airplane's going to maintain what its trimmed airspeed was.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't have enough speed to physically hold it in the air, you're just starting a very slow descent right here, just progressively down. So what this is telling me is that I need a pitch and power change to get back up to altitude, but I need a little bit higher power setting.
Yeah.
So anytime that I change my power, if I add power, the nose rises up because the trim, you said more speed, more lift. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
The trim is also trying to find and maintain the airspeed that it's holding right now, which is, what, about 90?
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch and see what happens as I bump in some more power. Because this is a big fundamental concept right here. I only added, what, 150 RPM?
Yeah.
Now the airplane's nose is rising because, yes, more speed equals more lift. But more importantly, watch where the nose is going to go now. It's starting to fall again, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not, coincidentally, I'm just getting near 5,000 feet, but look at where the airspeed is trying to settle into. It's trying to hold 90 knots
90,
again.
yeah.
So you might not be straight and level. See my nose rising again? It's going to fluctuate back and forth to try to find 90 knots. And it'll fluctuate back and forth. I mean, I could make it lose 30 knots if I wanted to, and then gain 30 knots.
Yeah.
But over a given time, it will oscillate up and down until eventually it settles in to hold whatever the trimmed airspeed is.
Yeah.
So the whole point to that is if you add power or take power away, it doesn't matter if it's 100 RPM or not, there is a corresponding trim change that goes along with it. Because you've changed the thrust output of the engine, thus changing the speed. So anytime you make a little power change, even in a turn, if I make my turn and I'm losing a little bit of altitude and I go, hey, I need some more power, I add some in. Yes, I will begin to rise a little bit, but I'm also probably going to generate a little bit different airspeed in there. which means that I'm going to have to give a little trim change. Now, I'm not advocating for changing every little thing. Once you get it trimmed out very nicely, like you had it before, where you can just use this much pressure to maintain, then altitude changes like that can be just a little pitch change. But again, the airplane's going to try to find its trimmed speed, so instead of me now feeling the nose rising like it is now and having to fight it constantly, I just have too much speed. So I back off on the power a little bit and look outside of the airplane to see where the nose stays consistent. So the airplane's trimmed, for example, at, I don't know, what are we holding? Let's go straight and level again. Let's see where she holds.
Roughly 100.
About, let's see, let me get it put back into straight and level flight. Okay. What happens if I pull the power?
Gonna drop the nose down, and then we're gonna keep just like a hill going up and down.
But
it's gonna gain more airspeed.
Ah, but it's going to try to find its trim speed.
Yeah, 100 knots right now, in between 110 and 100.
There you go. So it's going into a descent, and yeah, we're gonna build up some speed, and it's gonna nose over.
Yeah.
And you might build 20, 30 knots of speed as we're seeing, but watch the nose now. No human intervention here. See how it's starting to rise back up a little bit?
Yeah.
Then it might balloon up and we might see 80 knots, for example. Then it will come back down again. It will eventually, given, I don't know how long, it might be 2 or 3 minutes, it will eventually find its trimmed airspeed of 100 or 103 or whatever it was within just a couple of knots of airspeed.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a big fundamental concept right there. Any questions on that?
No, not so far.
Okay, you've got the flight controls.
I've got the flight controls.
I see you have the flight controls, okay. Let's do a climb back up to 5,000 feet.
All right.
And let's climb again at 75 knots. And let's do a left-hand turn so we avoid the clouds here.
All right.
There you go, good. Just make sure we don't exceed the red line. There you go. Now as you get that nose up more, you can start adding more power, because now we won't exceed the red line even with full throttle. Alright, now let's keep on going. Let's go back up to 5,000.
Alright.
Alright, and make a turn to a heading of 030. But go ahead and add all the thrust. When you get a good climb going, when you got a lot of altitude gain, go ahead and set it up again for your normal climb out. I mean, trim it, pitch it, add the power. That way your workload's reduced again. That way you can let off the controls again. Because right now it's trying to hold whatever it was last trimmed for in cruise.
Yeah.
There you go. Utilize that pitch for airspeed and then trim it so that it holds it. Because it's kind of like in your vehicle. If you use your cruise control, typically you get to speed first and then set the cruise control, right?
Yeah.
Same thing here. You should get to speed first here, then set the cruise control, essentially.
Yeah.
And as we climb back up to 5,000 feet, I want you to level off again, practicing that level off technique of holding the nose down, giving the airplane time to build airspeed, and then bringing the throttle back.
All right.
Hanging Rock traffic, Skyhawk 5185 Yankees, about 3 to the south of the base of Hanging Rock, up at 5,000 feet. We'll be maneuvering in between 4 and 5,000 feet, between the warehouses and Hanging Rock. Hanging Rock traffic. There you go, good. And keep a glance outside to see where your nose is, that's it. There you go, that is the correct process. Pitch first, then power, then trim, just like that.
All right.
But as you saw the first time, as you leveled off and pulled the power back and you had to kind of fight for the altitude a little bit, that's because the airplane wasn't given enough time to accelerate up to speed. So when you adjusted your trim, you had it trying to find a slower speed.
Yeah.
But then Eventually you'll get it dialed in, but this technique is you hold the nose over and let it accelerate, then adjust power, and then roll some trim in. You hold the altitude much better.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll work with that technique of pitch, let the airplane accelerate, then power,
yeah,
and then trim. Because that's the proper way to do a level off in the airplane. Okay. Do
right.
one. I'll tell you what. From here, you feel comfortable with any kind of stall work?
I done stalls my last lesson with him, but I was kind of confused because I didn't really study them. It's been a while. I mean, if you demonstrated one, I probably could do it.
Yeah,
if
sure.
That's okay with you.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do so.
Right.
All right, I've got the flight controls.
You got the flight controls?
I have the flight controls. All right, so a power on stall
right.
can occur on a takeoff.
Yeah.
And a climb out, for example.
All right.
So I try to simulate these things as realistically as I can. That way, if it ever happens in the real world, hey, I've been practicing it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay? So we kind of set it up like we're on a takeoff. So you may use full throttle, or out here, if you don't want to use a real high power setting, you don't have to, but I'm going to set it up in a gentle, nose up, smoothly apply full throttle pitch attitude.
Yeah.
I gave a light snugness on the throttle friction lock.
Yeah.
That way the throttle doesn't slip out. It's not so much that I can't still pull it, but just a light one.
Yeah.
I get it trimmed for about 75 knots, because that's what I was climbing out at.
Yeah.
And I'm holding the heading gear. Okay. The idea here is that I'm getting distracted on my climb out here. I'm going, hey, look down here. There's something down here happening, and yet here I am doing this. Right now, remember, there's an increasing left turning tendency. So, and you can keep your feet on the rudder. So I want you to feel the rudder inputs here. A little bit of right rudder at a time, but look outside. Notice the airplane is still wings level.
Yeah.
Because you can see that's in a right-hand turn, right?
Yeah.
Just by looking at the cowling. Okay, so ball is centered, gently raising the nose up, hand on the throttle.
Yeah.
I'm just letting the nose come up a little bit at a time. Remember, here comes the little shake.
Yeah.
And there's the full stall. Gently lower the nose down. The airplane accelerates.
Yeah.
Bring the nose right back up. But now to a normal pitch attitude.
Yeah.
Okay. Feel good about that?
Yeah.
Okay. You've got the flight controls.
I've got the flight controls.
I see you have the flight controls. All right. Let's do the same thing.
All right.
Gently begin to raise the nose.
All right.
And you don't want to go and yank all the way back and get it real high, because that's not what happens on a takeoff, right?
Yeah.
This is what happens on a takeoff, that pitch attitude. But we're becoming complacent, or we're talking to ATC. You got a chatty passenger here who's distracting you. Gently keep on bringing that nose back. Just a little bit at a time, just like that.
All right.
Look at your nose out there, and it looks like it's straight.
Yeah.
Good. Check the ball.
Yep.
It's centered. And just keep on bringing it back.
All right. So when do I reduce power?
No, you want to leave the full throttle in, because this is happening on our takeoff, right? Keep on pulling that nose up.
All right.
Feel back. Keep on pulling.
Yeah.
A little more. A little more. There you go. Keep going. Keep on raising it. Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep going. Keep pulling.
All right.
A little bit of right rudder.
All right.
There you go. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Feel that little umph I'm giving it?
Yeah.
There's the stall. Then you'll lower the nose right about there.
Okay.
It accelerates, quick glance, and gently raise back again. Because you don't want to reduce any throttle, because on a takeoff, you don't take any power out, right?
Right.
You use full throttle.
Yeah.
All right, now you felt I gave it that little umph right there at the very end. Do it one more time, but I want you to do all the pitching back. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to race to it and do like that.
Yeah.
But just as the nose gets heavier and it's trying to drop, you have to react with more back pressure.
Yeah.
So there it's dropping, so react with more back pressure. Go ahead, keep going.
All right.
There you go. All right, quick glance at the ball. Remember, there's an increasing right rudder. There you go. Keep on pitching back. Nose is getting heavier, right?
Yeah.
Keep on pitching back. Keep on going. Keep on going. a little more. A little more. Keep going. Feel it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Apply some more back pressure. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Keep going. There it is. There we go.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of a little different view up here.
Oh, yeah.
This is way higher than I've been before. I like it up here better.
All right, let's turn around and do another 180. Let's go over to a heading of 240.
All right.
And you can level off here. And you can steepen your bank up a little more. Go for about 30 degrees of banker setting. There you go.
Okay.
I say we have to rush into real big steep turns, but that way we save a little bit of time and we can get a little more done.
There was one stall we did, I can't remember what it was. We were going and then we went up and we went like really far down. It was like sort of like a roller coaster. I don't know what it was called.
Probably the power off stall.
Yeah, it was power off stall, that's what it was.
So if a power on stall is like you're on takeoff, then a power off stall is like we're coming into land.
Yeah.
All right, let me demonstrate one of those for you. All right, I got the flight controls.
Yeah, the flight controls.
I got the flight controls. Okay. So the power off stall, if I'm coming into land, I like to simulate this thing just like coming into landing. So I'm going to use flaps and trim and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go right to idle on the power. Just bring it back gently. Now I'm not going to let the nose drop way, way down.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm giving a shoot for the clearing over here. There's some power lines. There's a good straight line over there, power lines.
Yeah.
There's a good clearing right there. Okay. So I'm letting the airplane, I've got it to idle. I'm letting the airplane settle into its descent, but I'm not letting the nose drop down and go screaming down.
Yeah.
When you come into land, you should use some trim.
Yeah.
A little bit of nose up so that I can set the airplane up for a slower airspeed. Because I can put the flaps down all the way to 110, so I'm ready to put the first 10 degrees of flaps down. Because I'm coming into land, right? So here comes 10. There's our little balloon.
Yeah.
I gave it just a little bit of nose forward pressure. That way it didn't porpoise up on me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the airplane is settled into a good, slow descent here, but not so slow that I'm underneath my landing speed.
Yeah.
Because it's all about landing. All right, here's flaps to 20.
All right.
I steepened that descent just a little bit.
Right.
And here's the full 30. All right, there's all my flaps. I'm letting the airplane kind of settle into about 60.
Yeah.
As I approach 60, hand on the throttle, I gently raise the nose up to my landing pitch attitude, which is right about there. As the nose gets heavier, I keep pulling back. And here we go. There's the full stall. Smoothly apply full throttle. Bring the nose back to the horizon. And the flaps get them right to 20. So that frees up some of that drag on the airplane because I got to get a climb going. I'm right above the runway right now. This is too close for comfort. As the airplane continues to climb, gently bring them up to 10. Feel all that drag releasing again?
Yeah.
Now I can kind of fix my trim again, a little bit. Airplane's still having a hard time accelerating though because of the flaps out here.
Yeah.
All right, they do generate lift, but they're generating some drag here too. And then I gently ease them back up from 10 to 0.
Yeah.
Then I retrim again. I'm constantly trimming this airplane.
Yeah.
Because I work smart, not hard, right? I don't want to sit here and do this all the time if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Get over here. I'll tell you what, let's level off again. We're plenty good and far away from Greensboro. There's Meadowbrook down there. Okay. You've got the flight controls.
I've got the flight controls.
You have the flight controls. Let's do that same process. I'm going to walk you through it too, just verbally, okay?
All right.
So, bring the power to idle.
Power to idle.
Let the nose drop down a little bit. It's okay to let it establish in a descent. A little more is fine.
Alright.
Alright, all the way to idle. There you go.
Alright.
Now, go ahead and use some nose up trim, right? Because I'm working smart by doing that. There you go. Feel it already get lighter?
Yeah.
Ah, that's good right there. Okay. Flaps to plus 10.
Right. Right.
All right, now feel the balloon. Little.
Yep.
There you go. Little nose down. That's good.
Right.
Let her stabilize in the descent here. That feels good, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm coming in on final approach, I don't want to let it get too slow too soon. All right, now
Yeah.
20.
20.
Okay, that's that little bit of nose down pressure.
Yep.
Ah, still holding speed. Looks good.
Yeah.
All right, full 30. Lower that nose just a little bit more. There, that's it. You resisted that ballooning motion each time. All right, we're crossing the threshold of the runway here. All right, so hand on the throttle, gently bring that nose back to the horizon. Then go through one continuous motion here. Raise it to the horizon and start smoothly pitching back. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Keep going. Keep on going. You got a ways to go.
Yeah.
And keep on going. Feel me pulling some. There it is. There you go. Full throttle. Nose up to the horizon.
Yeah.
And then flaps go to 20. All right, about there. Good.
Flaps 20.
Now feel all that trim trying to fight you. You don't
Yeah.
want to let it stall against it. Take some of that trim out and push that nose to the horizon. Push it down to the horizon. Right about there. There you go. All right, feel it trying to raise on you just a little bit more. That's good.
All right.
We're climbing.
Yep.
Now flaps to 10. There you go. Ah, feel all that drag release.
Yeah.
Man, it feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, and then we're still climbing here. Flaps to 0.
All right.
There we go. She's stabilized into it. It's settling, and now you can retrim it and pitch it up for your normal climb out again, about 70 to 80. Now, coincidentally, that same process right there is a go-around, except you just don't stall the airplane in a go-around, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's level off here again.
All right.
All right. How do you feel with slow flight?
It's been a while since I've done it too.
Okay, I've got the flight controls.
Yeah, the flight controls.
I've got the flight controls. Okay, so slow flight.
Yeah.
Big part of coming into land, right?
Yeah.
It's all the landing phase is simply slow flight. So in slow flight, I use power for what?
Pitch. Oh, not pitch, but lift.
Okay,
Right.
so power for
Pitch.
power for altitude,
Altitude.
and then pitch for
Speed. Airspeed.
airspeed. So power for altitude and pitching for airspeed. Okay. All right. So I want to hold an altitude in slow flight.
Yeah.
And ideally, I want to hold a heading too. So let's
Yeah.
call it west. I don't want to chop the power down to idle because I don't want to come sinking down out of the sky real rapidly. No need for that.
Yeah.
So if you bring the power down to about 1800, that's a pretty good reference point for
Right.
slow flight. So I'm going to bring the power on back to about 1800. Now my nose is going to try to drop.
Yeah.
But I'm going to resist that because I'm trying to hold 5,500 feet and hold west. So I divide my attention between out here scanning for traffic and back in here to my gauges. Hey, I'm dropping, so I increase the pitch attitude some.
Yeah.
But now I'm working hard again because look at my hand.
Yeah.
I don't like flying like that. I should be flying differently. I ought to be flying like that.
Yeah.
Now look at my altitude again. I use power for altitude. So if I see myself sinking because my power has settled in too low, I need to use more power
Yeah.
to maintain altitude. So let me pull it a little bit low. Maybe I'm not paying attention to the altimeter right this second. Hey, I'm sinking there, okay? I'm starting to drop power for altitude, but how much is simply just a little bit, not a huge change. because I don't have much drag on the airplane, right?
Right.
So I use a little bit of power here. I don't really have to change the pitch attitude of the airplane all that much. A little bit more because I'm not climbing just yet. A little bit more. Ah, look, now I'm starting to climb a bit. Once I get settled back up at 5,500 feet, I'm not going to go nose over because I'm trying to fly slower. So I simply adjust my power back some to settle into a power setting that will hold altitude.
Yeah.
Okay. How about flaps? Because we use flaps when we come into land, right?
Yeah.
10 degrees of flaps. But what happens when I put them down? Where's my airplane going to go?
Up.
Don't try to go up. So like with that setup for the power off stall, I'm going to resist.
Yeah.
A little bit of thumb pressure. That's all it took me right there. That pressure right there is all it took me. Again, I don't like working hard. I like to work smart. So
yeah.
I'm fixing what I feel happening on my thumb. Okay. Altitude and heading look good.
Yeah.
Let's go to 20. Here's the balloon. A little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Retrim. You notice I use a lot of trim. Not a lot of big changes, but I'm using it frequently.
Yeah.
You should. All right, altitude and heading look good. A little bit off on the heading. I'm going to do a little turn to the right. Okay. Power for altitude, pitch for speed. So I'm sinking, so a little more power. But look at the nose. I don't want it to let it stall, so
yeah.
I use both power and pitch. Pitch so that the airplane doesn't get too slow and stall, but power so that I can begin a climb. If it's still not climbing, use more. Hey, now it's starting to indicate a little change here. Now, just like a normal level off, I'm just going to bring some power off. All right. Hey, now full 30. A lot of drag on the airplane now.
Yeah.
A lot of drag. I feel it on my body. I feel the airplane shake a little funny. We'll let the airplane kind of settle into 50. But I trimmed again because ideally, in good smooth air like this, you trim it correctly, airspeed's holding. If you have the power setting correct, altitude's holding. And now look, I'm just as comfortable as can be with just right rudder pressure, holding the ball centered. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to lower the nose to get out of slow flight here. Start back in a bit of a cruise. And I'm not going to dump the flaps, but I'm just going to progressively bleed them off. There we go, and here they all are out. And then I retrim once again because, hey, I'm flying a new speed, aren't I?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, questions on slow flight?
Nope.
Okay, very good. As I get turned around here, I'm going to pass the controls to you here momentarily. All right. Pitch, power, and trim here looks good. We're flying north. Okay. Your turn for slow flight, okay? You've got the flight controls.
I have the flight controls.
I see you have the flight controls, all right. Let's settle into slow flight using roughly where the bug is and 5,500 feet.
All right.
Gotta keep those feet moving a little bit too when you feel things changing. With ailerons too, keep them moving a little bit at a time. There you go, good, working smart, I like it. There we go. All right, so we're slightly high on the altitude, so we need to do that. How do we fix it, I should say?
A reduced power?
A little bit, because you don't have a big change. You're only talking about 60 feet, so maybe like that. That's all it needed, because look, it's in a very shallow descent.
Yeah.
I very much so encourage small changes when they're necessary, because it's precise flying.
Yeah.
Now, you know you took that little bit out and it seemed to be holding, so now simply add that little bit back in. 100 RPM is all you need. Very good. Let's add some flaps in. Get that first 10 degrees in. That balloon, that's good. That's the right reaction right there. All right, evaluate airspeed and altitude. All right, let's do 20.
All right.
Now, more drag, which means the airplane's going to try to go where?
Up.
Well, it'll get a balloon initially, but then it's going to try to...
Gonna settle back down.
It's going to try to settle back down, which we're seeing here. So now that you've got a downward trend, go ahead and add the power back in to fix it. But now you got to climb, which is going to take more throttle to climb than it would to just take some out and let it sink. There you go. Good change. All right, let's go for 30.
All right.
Yeah, that's all right. Go ahead and settle into the 30.
Okay.
Now, you know it's going to be drag on the airplane, so you'll need a corresponding or change, possibly. And then just retrim her one more time so you don't have to fight anything. Then you'll know in this good smooth air when you got it just right, because you should be able to just ease off and keep your hand nearby to monitor and guard things, just like you're doing. Excellent. Just keep that little bit of right rudder pressure in there.
Right.
There you go. Very good. And now you're in slow flight. Let's recover. Okay, and now let's get our flaps out so we can get back into a normal cruise. A little bit at a time, feel that little oscillation, good.
Yeah.
That's why you don't want to take them out too fast. Now do it a little more. That's all right, that's pretty good. And now take the rest of them out. As long as you just do it incrementally, you don't want it to dive over on you. Okay, very good. I got the flight controls.
Yeah, the flight controls.
I got the flight controls. All right, good job. That's good evaluation. You got a good touch on the airplane. You understand the fundamentals. That was a good little review of slow flight installs. Any questions on any of that?
Nope, not so far.
Okay, very good. All right, so what do we need to do before we go back into our airspace?
Check the weather again.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
All right. Oh, okay. So I've never have actually changed this radio.
Uh-huh.
He's always done it for me. I'll be flying, never messing with it, changing it. So the weather automatically is 126. No, that's Greensboro, right? 126.90.
I don't know what it is. I just changed it to something else so that
okay.
you'll have to dial in a frequency. Remember what the frequency is for the ASOS or the ATIS information?
Not exactly. I don't think so.
That's 121.3.
121.3.
So go ahead and dial that in over here. Because it works the same way as this one does here.
Right.
Fundamentally, it's the exact same. All right.
Temperature 31.23, altimeter 299er3. Here's your approach, runway 33 in use, land, parkway 33, runway 22. 07 taxiway, Foxtrot closed between taxiway hotel and 1,100 feet northeast of taxiway hotel, except for aircraft parking. Use caution. More in operations and progress adjacent to runways, taxiways, and movement areas. All aircraft read back all hold short instructions and assign altitudes. Thoughts on initial contact, give information, November.
Information, November.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to handle the radio communication for here. Okay. On the GPS, remember how to pull up direct to Winston?
Direct to Winston, click this, right?
Right.
Winston Tower, 227 Papa Foxtrot, holding short, 33 at Alpha.
Activate.
Enter.
227 Papa Foxtrot, hold short, runway 33 for land traffic.
11 miles out.
Holding short,
What direction
33,
are we coming
227
from?
Papa Foxtrot.
And Tower 7125 Quebec, you can let Papa Fox go off. We've got plenty of room.
Northeast.
There we go. We're just slightly to the northeast. Very good.
No delay, runway 33 right, left turn approved, clear for takeoff.
I notice
Left turn
I'm
approved,
changing my
clear for takeoff,
scale a little
227
bit here.
Papa Foxtrot.
Just whenever you feel like changing it, you can. It's not
And
something,
Tower
I don't
Premier
want to keep it
678
like
Alpha
this,
Mike, we're ready on runway
but
33
I like
and
to be able to
sequence.
see the airspace here.
678 Alpha
Yeah.
Mike, Winston Tower. Hold short, runway 33 for departing and landing traffic.
8 Alpha Mike, holding short, 33.
Winston Tower, Cessna 5185 Yankee.
The 5185 Yankee, Winston Tower.
5185 Yankee, 10 to the northeast, inbound to land with the ATIS information.
685 Yankee, you doing a full stop landing?
Yes, sir, affirmative. Full stop back to flight school.
685 Yankee, straight into runway 22, report a, give me a 3 mile final.
Straight up 22 on a 3 mile final, we'll give you the call, 5185 Yankee. Okay, you got the flight controls.
I have the flight controls.
I see you have the flight controls, okay. Have our checklist ready to go on the descent checklist. And let's go ahead and start running that.
Alright. Seats, all that's check.
Looks good.
Heading indicator.
Look at bug runway 22 so we know what runway we're going to utilize.
Right. Right. Radios are set.
Got it.
Check. Altimeter set.
Got
Check.
it.
Instruments check.
They all look like they're functioning correctly.
Fuel quantity. Check. Fuel selector valves both.
Good.
Lights as required. Landing and taxi lights on.
There we go.
Mixtures are rich.
Leave it right there.
Alright. Throttle as required. So we're doing we're doing pretty good right now.
Got a good
Okay,
steady
Tower
descent
25
going.
Quebec is down. We'll turn off here at Charlie.
Let's pull the power back just a little bit more, get a little more descent going. Remember, this is all
Left on
based
Charlie,
on
right on Alpha.
this is all based on what you see for the changes that you make.
Right.
You don't want to come screaming down at a real high rate of descent.
Yeah, because they're going to gain a lot of airspeed.
Right, and
Then we're going to go to level off. It's going to want to rise and stuff.
that's right.
Right?
So as you pull a little bit more power off, you'll get less speed. But remember, if I pull your power back to here now,
Right.
we're going to sink down at a faster rate.
Yeah.
But you don't have to sink down and have to pull because you can use a little bit of trim. Do about a half roll of trim up.
All right.
Go ahead, just do about a half roll up. There you go, right about there.
Right.
All right, and if you're still not happy with the descent rate, make another change here. I might pull another 200 RPM off so we settle into a little bit quicker descent.
Right.
There we go, or rather, I say quicker, not airspeed descent-wise, because we are well within the flap operating range now.
Yeah.
But quicker here based on what we see. And then again, if we see that we're still not happy with this, because are we high, are we low, or are we on glide path?
I think we're on glide path. But I don't really see any lights yet, so I'm not very sure.
We're above the glide path, but
Of glide path,
are
right.
we're high in relation to the runway, but we can fix that, right?
Yeah.
Take more power out.
All right.
Try 1500.
All right. 1500.
Now the nose is trying to fall over because it's
Check.
trying to find that trim speed, so a little bit more trim right there. There you
November 8
go.
Alpha Mike, contact Greensboro, departure 120.9er.
8 Alpha Mike, we'll see you.
Winston Tower, 9835
Now feel that
holding short 33.
everything's nice and smooth.
Right.
We're not having to fight
runway
here.
33, clear for takeoff, no delay. Got traffic on the 3 mile final, runway 22.
Clear for takeoff 33, no delay, 90835 Golf.
All right, still visually we're still a little high, so
Okay.
a little more power.
Yeah, I see 2 white lights now.
There you go.
85 Yankee, you can expect your clearance in about another mile and a half.
Roger, we'll wait for the call, 5185 Yankee. All right, now we're within the flap operating range.
Right.
This is a pretty good distance
Let's
out,
get back
but
across
that's
forward
okay.
out.
We can go ahead and slow ourselves down or bring ourselves down with a little more drag.
Yeah.
Now the airplane's settling quite nicely, but let's go ahead and do 10 degrees of flaps.
Right. 10 degrees.
And now we're back into slow flight,
Right.
essentially. So we'll use power for glide path and pitching for some airspeed.
This good or too much decent?
No, this is looking good. I don't really pay much attention to the lights. I mean, they're there and utilize them, but I like to develop more of a visual picture for when we're on glide path or high or low. That way, if you don't have the lights, you can still fix it. Now, based on what's happening around you in the airplane's glide path, we're sinking a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe consider adding in maybe 200 RPM. Not specifically looking, but just listening. Just a little power change.
Right.
And if that doesn't do it for you, add a little more.
Looks like a pretty good descent to the runway right here.
So far, so good. I agree.
Might have to increase a little power
Ah,
when we get closer to the end of the runway.
But go ahead and do it now because it's easier to take that little bit of power out.
Yeah, I'd rather take it out than put it in.
That's right. That's the way I like thinking. Pretty good distance for 20 degrees of flaps.
Right.
And let's just land with 20 today.
20 today? All right, that's fine.
5185 Yankee, mile final runway 22.
85 Yankee, runway 22, clear to land.
Clear to land runway 22, 5185 Yankee. All right, so landing speed at 60.
Right. Tower 227, Papa Foxtrot, clear of your Delta to the west.
7 Papa Foxtrot, free exchange approved.
Free exchange approved, 7 Papa Foxtrot.
All right.
There you go. Now keep that nose pitched for about 60.
Right.
Small changes for speed. There we're at 60. Let her settle down.
All right.
There you go. Looks like we're gonna need a little bit of power.
Right.
There you go. Add a little more, but pitch that nose down some. Add a little more. There you go. Speed looks good.
Right.
Now gently bring that throttle to idle. You don't want to chop it. There you go. Fight to keep that center line. Bring it all the way to idle. Pitch that nose. Yep, there you go. There we go. And let's apply a little bit of brake pressure.
Right.
All clear.
Clear left, clear right.
Right. We'll take
Take a right here.
That's right. But always remember, you never want to take that right there.
Yeah, never on the runway.
That's on the runway. You always want to take Juliet. Now, I'm not going to give him a call. If he calls me, we can respond, but I'm not going to call him until I'm completely clear of the runway here.
Right.
If he's got something to tell me, he'll tell me.
Right.
Most importantly, I'll just make sure all the airplane's clear. It is.
Right.
And we're on the after landing checks.
Flaps up. Trim. Set. Make sure. Good.
All set. Good.
All right.
And now we got to have permission, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 5185 Yankee, back to the flight school.
85 Yankee, roger. Taxi to the ramp via taxiway Juliet.
To the ramp via Juliet, 5185 Yankee.
Talking until cross 48 out.
Where shall we park at? Somebody star spot.
We'll put it over here where the chalks are.
Want to make sure to stay safe distance away since they're out there.
That's
pushing it back. Just not to give them a fright.
Western Tower, System 145 on uniform is 10 northeast, inbound for landing with information November full south.
Very good.
Do a quick
145
mag
uniform,
check.
Winston Tower, ident.
Identify on uniform.
Click. Okay. Both.
That's 35 Golf.
2 clicks.
Runway 33 clear
Both.
to land.
33 clear to land, and this will be a full stop back to the ramp 90835 Golf.
That's 51 uniform, straight into runway 22, report a 5 mile final.
Straight into 22, report 5 mile final, 145 on uniform.